This photograph of a crowded Kalaba grain store captures a heavy reality. Every person waiting in that line is navigating a deep internal landscape that rarely matches their physical surroundings. They are tethered to the mundane task of survival, even as their minds reach for something much larger. This is the characteristic of the microcosm, the individual human. Our existence is defined by bondage to physical laws and social needs. We stand in sharp contrast to the macrocosm, the supreme entity that operates entirely free of these constraints. We move through the world assuming we are in control, yet our cognitive limitations are absolute. Despite our technology and planning, no human being can predict the exact moment their own life will end. This belief in absolute personal autonomy is the friction that creates our psychological suffering. We struggle against a system we don't fully own, governed by forces we can't see. Imagine a universe left entirely to blind material forces, atoms, molecules, and electrons acting without a script. The result is a perpetual state of collision. Without a governing logic, these particles would never assemble into a coherent structure. Instead, we observe a universe of mathematical harmony. This order suggests the presence of a singular cognitive force, a knowing faculty that manages the chaos of matter into a functional system. In the Sanskrit tradition, this supreme controller is known as Ishvara. The name itself stems from the root ish, meaning to control. Human progress accelerates when we align our individual actions with this underlying governing intelligence. Evolution requires moving beyond the friction of chaotic, independent movement and surrendering to the logic of the whole. To understand how the Supreme remains free, we examine 4 laws of limitation. First is klesha, or affliction. Ego-driven actions disturb the mind's natural state. Then comes vipaka, delayed consequence. Actions trigger reactions that gather interest over time, resulting in massive return waves. The macrocosm is exempt from this cycle because of the nature of its internal space. If you strike another person, you face a penalty. If you slap your own cheek, you have committed no crime. Since the entire universe is internal to the Creator, every divine action is an interaction with the self. There is no external other to demand a reaction, so no karma or vipaka can ever accumulate. Our suffering is the mathematical result of operating in an externalized reality, where every move we make pushes against something outside of ourselves. We are also limited by ashaya, the law of shelter. Every human existence requires a nested series of containers, homes, cities, and planets to provide a refuge. The supreme entity requires no shelter because it is the ultimate refuge. It is the container for the solar systems themselves. Beyond these physical differences lies a deeper divide in how we process emotion. Humans possess a capacity to judge and hate, creating hierarchies based on status or birth. This capacity for hatred is absent in the divine. The Creator extends the same proximity and care to those in the depths of suffering as to those in states of joy. The defining boundary between the human and the divine is the limit of unconditional love. We divide the world into high and low. The macrocosm sees only its own creation. Bridging this gap between the bound individual and the free supreme seems impossible, given our scale and our flaws. Yet we were provided with one specific mechanism to bridge this divide: the human mind. The mind operates on a specific principle. As it thinks, so it becomes. Prolonged focus on a specific object eventually reshapes the entire personality to match that object. When an expert magician performs a trick, the audience is mesmerized by the illusion. You can spend a lifetime studying the dirt the magician uses, or you can establish a relationship with the magician himself to learn the secret. This proximity, this intimate, emotional bond with the source, is the only way to move from a spectator of the cosmic laws to a participant in them. Practical liberation is found by superimposing cosmic ideation onto every mundane daily task. This shift requires changing our underlying motivation. We move from ashakti, acting for personal satisfaction, to bhakti, where actions are performed for the whole. Through this constant focus, the unit mind begins to absorb the qualities of the infinite entity it contemplates. In this final stage of evolution, the boundary of the individual self disappears. By knowing the infinite, the bound human becomes the infinitely free macrocosm.